Hello, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I am very happy to be here today speaking to Webster Tsenase. And I really would like to welcome you here today, Webster. We're going to have a lovely chat about all things about your life, what you've been up to, your businesses, and your wonderful publishing company as well. And so. Uh, I don't think that I'm going to make a very long introduction for you. I think that it would be better if you tell us a little bit more about yourself. And if you'd like to do that, please go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. It's always nice to have this opportunity to talk to other people about not just about myself, but about what we do. So my name is Webster Tsenase, and one of the things that I'm obsessed with is publishing and speaking. So those are the two big spheres in my life, if you will. And yeah, I run a very unique publishing house here in South Africa that publishes globally, and we're doing very well. You can say we're multiple award winning and stuff like that, which is great. And I'm also a consultant and speaker, and yeah, I just go around speaking at certain organizations who need help with peak performance, leadership. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's basically who I am. I'm obsessed with personal development and publishing.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Webster. And I think you're really very modest in how you describe yourself. um, you And I know that you work a lot with businesses, and you do strategy and high performance strategy with them and help them to work out plans for their businesses and for their employees, especially as well. Um, so could we go back to how you actually started? Because in 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 your description about yourself that I've seen, you started very young in business, at 18 years old. And
Yeah.
like many people, went through a couple of different phases and tried out a few things.
Yeah.
And here you are today, successful and doing so many different things. But it's not always an easy journey, is it?
No, no, it's not an easy journey at all. It's in some ways it's a horrible journey in some ways, and I think that's one of the things that I like talking about because I can be upfront and I can be honest about it. It is very hard. It's just about the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, and probably will ever do. It's very hard to live your dream life. Everybody thinks everybody has this fantasy view of living your dream life, and it's going to be like this, and it's hard doing those things, and mainly because we're all unique, we're all different, so we all have different dreams, different things we want to do in life, but in most cases, life will try and bring you down and stop you from doing those things. And that's where a lot of people get caught up, and they tried something and it didn't work, and then they gave up, and then they went back to where they were safe or where they felt safe and comfortable. So for me,
Yeah.
just like you were saying, I started when I was 18, straight out of straight out of matric, or what we call grade 12 here in South Africa. So
Yeah.
when I matriculated, I went to university. I started with my LLB, which is a bachelor's in law degree. And as I was doing that, I co-founded a company with my best friend, which was supposed to change the world, and it almost did, but something went wrong, and it was at that time. I mean, this was 2007. This was 2007. There wasn't a lot of music streaming and stuff like that, so that's what the company was doing, and we were in talks with your Universal, your Sony, BMG, all those music or record companies with regards to streaming, and we were getting somewhere. And I don't know what happened, things just fell apart. And when that happened, and mind you, I'm still studying at the same time. So most
Yeah.
times I was multitasking, right? Studying and running businesses at the same time. So this one didn't work out at all, at all, at all. And we were really, we were disappointed, we were dejected because we put in so much hard work into this, and we knew that this idea could change the world. And
Yeah.
now, 10, however long it is, years later, now we know that had we just stuck with that, it was going to change the world. But that's just how life is. You know, that was one of the many failures that happened. And went back to studying, focused on that until another great idea came about, and then started another company. And then after a while, that didn't work out as well. And, you know, so my life has been like that. It's been up and it's been down and it's been up, and it's not like it's a gradual up, it's a shoot up, and then it's a shoot down at the same
Yeah.
time, and it's a shoot up and it's a shoot down at the same time. And it got to the point where I actually I dropped out of my degree actually. And
Oh,
yeah, I dropped out because deep down I just knew that, you know, this is not for me. I felt like it was for me, but this was not for me. Now, that's where it gets a little bit complicated, because you don't always know what you want. You don't always know what you want for your life.
yeah,
But
and especially at that very young age, I think that,
exactly,
people are expected to know exactly what they want, and actually right through your life, what you want changes, doesn't it?
exactly. So, you know, for me, it was that kind of a thing, and obviously, it was it was very complicated, because I was always kind of changing, and I dropped out of the LLB, and then I focused on HR, and then I didn't finish the HR, and then I started another business. So I was at the time, you could say that I was a little bit erratic at the time. I would take anything that came to me as a great idea, and yeah, it got me into a lot of trouble with parents and so forth, because I'm always moving, you know, I'm always moving, I'm here, and then the next time I'm over there, and then the next time I'm over there, and it's like, well, why don't you just do one thing, like just pick one thing and do that. But then, like I said, I didn't know what that was until you know, I got into, I had three years, a very solid 3 bad years, 3 horrible years, where I dropped out of the HR as well, and then I was staying at home for 3 years. And it was in those 3 years that I tried to figure myself out. And in that 3 years, I figured myself out. I I didn't do anything per se worthwhile in that 3 years. I literally just got to know myself better. I did
Well,
the
I'd
most.
say that's pretty worthwhile. Getting to know
It is.
yourself better is the most worthwhile thing.
It didn't look so worthwhile at the time. It looked stupid, because one of the things I would do, and I'll never forget, this is one of the things that I think that I would ascribe my success to, is that I would take I think it was an A1 page, an A1 piece of paper, big paper, and I would draw a mind map. And this mind map, because mostly, you know, mind map is a technique that some people use to study and whatever. I used it to study myself. So I made a mind map of myself, and then I basically sat down for days with myself and figured everything about myself. How many thoughts I'm thinking, how many of those are negative, how many of those are positive, what am I afraid of, what am I not afraid of, what can I do, what can't I do, what am I not sure of. I put everything on that piece of paper, and I think I even did the back side of that. I put everything on that piece of paper, everything, my favorite stuff,
Wow.
my least favorite stuff, who I am, who I think I am, who I want to be. I put everything in that piece of paper, very vulnerable, put everything there. And it was from that moment onwards that I began to find myself. And that was the thing that kind of catapulted me into something amazing. Because I believe that at the end of the day, as Les Brown likes to say, you are You're the beginning, you're the end. Everything
Yeah.
starts with you and it ends with you. If you don't know who you want to be, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Your life is gonna suck. Your life is gonna be up and down. You don't know where you're going. But once you figure yourself out and once you realize that you are the power, not that you have the power, you are the power. So
Yes.
if you want to change something, change it. If you're not happy with something, change it. If there's something you want to do, do it. So I had to realize that the hard way. And in those 3 years, I did a whole bunch of things other than finding myself. I visited my cousin for some while, so I went away from home for some while. I started journaling, my thoughts, my day, what happened, what I wanted to happen. So I'm a dreamer. I dream a lot. I write down my dreams. I did a whole bunch of those things, and by the end of that 3 years, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I knew exactly how I was going to do it. And in fact, I had a dream. I had a dream. So I'm a big believer in affirmations. I'm a
Yeah.
big believer in saying certain things of my life. So whenever I'd go to bed at night, I would always say, God, tell me what you want me to do for the rest of my life. What is my purpose here? I want to know. Amen. That was it. So I do that every night. And the ninth month, I was doing this for 9 months straight. The ninth month of that third year, I had a dream. And that dream was about books. And I woke up
Wow.
and knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly how to do it. And I never looked back.
That's absolutely amazing. I love the story that you've just told. And I mean, that 3 years where you said you were basically doing nothing. I mean, I think that's the most important thing that you ever did for yourself in your life during those 3 years. Because, as you say, it starts and ends with you. And, that's something that we have to realize, that it's not out there, it's not to do with anybody else. It's always only to do with ourselves. And nobody can steer us in the direction that we need to go. We have to be doing it from what we have within us. We
Yeah.
know innately, we know what we want to do. That's amazing. I love that. Thank you for sharing that story. And so then you had the dream, and from there, well, what happened next?
Well, I had the dream, and in that moment, I didn't know what it meant. I didn't understand it. But when I woke up, maybe 10 seconds later, after I woke up, I don't know how to describe it. I just had a download. I had a major download. I just knew what to do. I just knew. And I said, okay, I need to write a book, right? I need to write a book and I'm going to publish it and I'm going to write another one and another one and another one and let's see how far that goes. So I started researching and I was just drawn towards the subject of money and how to handle money from a spiritual point of view. So I wrote a
Yeah.
book about that, titled Money Isn't King, You Are. And I researched for a while, a couple months. I must have redone that book maybe two times or three times. And because this was my first book and I didn't know at the time that I would eventually become a publisher. So I thought I was just, going to be a writer or an author. So I
Uh-huh.
wrote that book, published that book, great. And it didn't do so well. I was so happy though to have my book, but it didn't do well at all. Financial wise, it did not sell. It was a bummer. So I was I was so discouraged. But I said to myself, you know what? Even if one person reads it and it makes sense and it helps them, that's all that matters to me. I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. And then while that was happening, I had an idea to write another book, which the second book I believe was Your Undisputed Purpose. And there was a little bit about my experience as well and how I got to do what I'm doing now. So I researched once again, looked at a couple of keys and, put in my own stories. And that was my second book, also didn't do so well. And I was like, wow, geez, I must really suck as an author. This is not going very well. And you begin to doubt the dream. You begin to doubt what you thought you were supposed to do because it's not going in the direction that you thought it was supposed to go in. So I said to myself, well, hey, and this is the funny thing about this whole dream thing and this whole purpose thing. You're not doing it. Oh, let me speak for myself. It's not about the money for me. It's about the impact. It's about the impact. It's about serving the next person.
Yeah.
So purpose for me is all about serving. It's not necessarily about money. The money comes, trust me, but it's about serving. If my intention was not to serve, then I would not be living a purposeful life. So for me, purpose and serving are they're one and the same thing. You cannot live a purposeful life if you're not serving anyone. If you're just
Yeah.
serving yourself, that's not a purpose-driven life. So so that's one of the things that happened. And then I said, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I know some people have read the book, some people have bought it. It just didn't become a bestseller. I said, it's okay. Let me write my third one. Now, my third one was a guide. It wasn't even really a book. It was a small guide, maybe 70 pages. And it was titled The Author's Guide to Self-Publishing in South Africa. Now, that's when things switched around in my life. And I mean, by all accounts, that book or that guide was not supposed to be successful. By all accounts, it was a very small, very simple, and a kind of guide, kind of book. And the printer made a mistake. It was supposed to be a hand at like a very small book, and the printer kind of made it an A5, and it looked horrible, to be honest. But you know what? That's the book that opened a lot of doors, a lot of doors.
Amazing.
It opened doors for speaking, for training, for workshops. I spoke at book fairs. I spoke at universities. I'm still speaking at universities. Like I was surprised. I was really, really, really surprised that that book went that far. It sold a lot, and it then opened me up to a new world, a totally new world. And I was like, okay. I'm glad I didn't stop. I'm glad I didn't stop. And then after that was just a natural progression. People started coming to me. Oh, can you help me with this? Can you help me with publishing this and doing that? And I said, okay, let me try. And it led to the next person and the next person and the next person and the next person until I stopped writing for myself. I stopped publishing my own books and I started helping other people to publish theirs. And I just never looked back after that. Everything just took off.
That's fantastic. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny that the book that you thought was not supposed to do anything was
Yeah.
actually the one that actually got it all started.
Yeah.
And that
It,
was also, as you say, about the serving, because it's the people, they needed you. They
yeah.
came to you because they needed you. So they found you through that book. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And so your publishing company was born.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
born. And yeah, it was born and I never looked back. And we've been doing very well. We've been publishing books. And over the years, we've just been, just honing my own skills, bringing in freelancers to help with certain things as well, because I can't do everything myself. In the past, I used to. And then I realized I'm doing my clients a disservice because I'm not a professional in design or in cover design and stuff. And so, you bring in the right people, you create a small team who um, that is qualified and that's able to push out amazing projects. Because at the end of the day, these books they're more than just books. Books to me are more than just books. It's a foundation upon which you can build an amazing brand. Books are all about branding, author branding. And that's one of the things that I started to realize a couple of years ago. And we changed our strategy, we changed everything. And we said we're now going to focus on building author brands, because once we do that, everything else becomes easier for the author, for our clients. Selling becomes easy, distribution becomes easy. Everything becomes easy when you have built a very strong author brand. And so
Yeah.
we started along that line and we introduced new services. There are certain things that you'll only find with us, with TW Publishers, that you won't find anywhere else. And that's mostly because we're crazy. We're a crazy bunch. And in most cases, I mean myself. Yeah, my goals are very, someone would say far-fetched. I always think way too far. And I'm a very creative person. And sometimes that gets the better of me. So I have I always come up with something new, or something, or a new way of doing something, a quicker way of doing it, a more effective way of doing it. And I'm always changing, always changing, and just trying to find a way to help the authors, our clients, to be better brands, to publish better books, and so forth. So I'm that kind of a person. So
Yeah.
the company never stays the same. There's always something changing. Every year something changes, and it's a great thing because it's allowed me to grow. And I've always
Yeah.
experienced new issues, new challenges, new problems. And it's no longer what it used to be, when we were charging peanuts and we're just doing it because I wanted to help people and serve people. I had to now live off of what I was doing, and it was very hard to change that mindset. That
Mhm.
it was very hard to change that. I'm helping people to, okay, I'm helping people, but can I make money to sustain myself at the same time,
Yeah.
right? It
Isn't
was very
that
hard.
the strangest thing, though, Webster, is that um, so many people, in their thoughts of that they need to be helping people, think that they are supposed to do it almost for free or at a very low cost and not
Yeah,
earn anything from it. And actually, what you're doing, the service that you're giving, is so important. I mean,
yeah,
for authors, as you say, to brand themselves, what they're writing in their books, they are writing from their hearts. You know, they are
yeah,
writing from themselves. And I mean, I know many of the authors that you have published,
yeah,
and for them, it is such an important thing to have you helping them to brand their books. And I know that you put them into stores as well. And I mean, that's quite amazing. So it's not just a matter of a quick, I'll help you to publish your book. You know, it goes way further than that. And
yeah,
it absolutely has to have the other part to it as well, because otherwise there's something that's not in balance. And I wanted to just say something else. You were saying about, your dreams. You always have new dreams, and you're creative and everything. And I mean, our dreams can never be too big. The, and we never get it done. You know,
yeah,
there's always something more. It's not just, okay, now I'm going to do this project, and then when that's done, that will be it. No, it's never like that. There's always going to be something else and something more. And I just love that that your dreams are big. Yeah.
exactly.
So now you had to go and rethink about the mindset so that you could change the financial part
Yeah,
of the business.
yeah, yeah. And it was a very hard thing because, like I said, you want to serve people, but at the same time, you need to make a living for yourself. And mind you, I've never worked for anyone. I've never worked for any corporation or anything per se. I've always started a business and made it work. That's
Yeah.
all I've done. So that's all I know. So I've never really become dependent on anything, or any source of income. I've never felt financially safe, if you can call it that way, or financially comfortable. I always had to
Mhm.
grow. I always had to find a way to make things work. I always had to give outrageous amounts of value so that I can command a certain fee at the end of the day. But I realized that, you know what, I'm doing myself a disservice, and I'm doing my authors, our clients, a big disservice if I am not taking myself seriously. You see, it's one thing to respect other people, which we should, but it's another thing when you respect yourself. And it takes a lot of courage to respect yourself, in the sense that, listen, I'm a big deal. I'm helping people. Surely I need to pay myself, and surely I need to have enough to do one, two, three, whatever, whatever. Maybe I don't want to mention, I don't want a Lamborghini, but, and even if you do, it's cool. But in order to have the things you want to have, you need money. There's no two ways about it. So I had to slowly creep out of that mindset. It took a while, but I crept out of it, and we started charging something stupid, something really stupid. And then we just kept doubling it as we went along. And if I look at how much we used to charge, I mean, just in that first 3 years, it was ridiculously low. It was stupid low. And then now to what we charge today, it's stupid high. And you'd be so surprised that people will pay both of those numbers, the stupidly low numbers and the stupid high numbers. People would pay for both, and it really taught me to give outrageous amounts of value to clients, and they will reward you at the end of the day. Why? Because they understand the value that you're bringing to them. And that is why we were always re-strategizing, because there's certain clients who will see the value in 100,000 Rand package, and there are certain clients, other clients, who will not see the value in 100,000 Rand package. Both of them are right. The one who sees the value in the 100,000 is right. The one who doesn't see it is right. So we chose to go with the ones who see the value, and those then became our ideal clients, and we've been happy with them, and we're growing, and we're then able to do all the other amazing things that we need to do, which takes a lot of money to do, and we never look back. And we've just been, you wouldn't believe it, we've been doubling and tripling our prices with every major achievement that we attain. And I mean, we've published over 100 books. We've done it globally. We're everywhere. Whether you're in Australia,
You've gone mute for a moment.
sorry, someone was calling me, which is,
there you go.
sorry about that. Yeah, so like we've can you see me? I can't see myself.
I can see you, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we triple them, and you know, we just wanted to do the best. We offer the best. Like I said, there's certain things that we offer that you won't find anywhere else, and we did that on purpose, just to prove and just to show that we know what we're doing, and we're the best in what we're doing. We're not the best in the world, but we're the best in my world. This is my world. And that's one of the things that I've learned, is that you need to create your own universe. I have my own universe. And in my universe, I'm God in that universe. And whatever I want to happen in that universe, I make it happen. And no one can tell me anything in my universe. If there's anything negative, if there's anything contrary to where I want to go and who I think I am, I understand that it's outside of my universe. It's happening outside of my bubble. And what do? I ignore it. It has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me. Everything that I've achieved, everything that I will ever achieve, is going to happen in my universe. It's not going to happen in someone else's universe. It's going to happen in my universe. And one of the ways that this has happened for me is that I have already seen it happen. I already have a snapshot of where I'm ending. Let me say it that way. My ending, or my end, I already know where it's going. I already know where everything's going. So for me, living this life is a formality. It's just something I have to go through, but I know where I'm going.
You're mute again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry about that. So for me, that's what matters. I've seen everything happen, and I know where I'm going. And just like you said, I know that it's the funny part about a vision, is that no matter how big it is, you'll never attain it. You'll never attain it. And I don't mean that in a negative kind of way. I don't want to scare people off. But you will never get to the point where you are standing on the summit of your mountain and you say, I finally made it. I'm done. Can I die now? You never get there. Because the closer I was getting to where I thought I wanted to go, the further that yardstick went, and it just disappeared, and it went over the horizon, and I said, oh my gosh, now I have to chase it again. And then I'm chasing it, and then the closer I got, then it went further backwards, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then I realized that, and I internalized it, and I realized that this is life's way, or your vision's way, of inducing your own personal growth. An ever increasing human being is the best human being. So when you have a vision, that's what it does to you. It stretches the living daylights out of you. You're going to hate it at some point because you never catch it. You're going to be anxious because you're not sure where it's taking you sometimes. Even though you have the snapshot, you're not sure where it's taking you, because you're supposed to take route A, a scenic route, but then it's taking you through the jungle, and it's taking you through waters. You're afraid you can't swim, you're going to drown, like you're having all these things. But it's creating an ever increasing human being. And that is, number one, the most dangerous thing that you can ever be. And dangerous, not in a bad sense, but in a good sense, because now you understand that you have the power. You're no longer powerless. You're no longer at the mercy of life. You're no longer at the mercy of other people. You're no longer at the mercy of poverty or lack, or a lack of imagination or creativity or anything along those sorts. You are now in power. And you can simply wake up today and say, hey, hold on a second. I can do this. And you know what? I'm going to start right now. I'm going to start right now. And you can achieve anything you want to achieve. Anything. And it's such a cliche to say, if you can think it, you can do it. If you can dream it, you can do it. But it's the truth.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I like going a step forward and saying, not just if you can think it, you can do it, but if you have the boldness to say it, then it will be yours. That's how I
Yes.
live my life. I'm careful with what I say. I always speak to myself, always. When I'm driving, there's something I say to myself. I speak to myself. When I'm at the mall and I'm climbing an escalator, I turn around and I look back so that I can see myself elevating. There's something I say to myself when I'm elevating. I'm always saying certain things to myself, and they're all positive, and they're all directional. I'm already telling myself where I'm going, and I'm already telling myself what I have achieved, not what I'm going to achieve, not what I
Yeah.
want, but what I have achieved. Even though in the physical I'm not there yet, to me I'm already there. I'm already there. So those are the kinds of things that I do all the time, and it has catapulted me to a totally new world, because I understand that I have the power. And because I have the power, I don't have to wait for someone else to tell me I'm intelligent. I can tell myself. And because I have the power, I don't have to wait for someone to acknowledge um, or validate what I'm doing, or who I am, or my ideas. I can simply do that for myself. And I'm a big spiritual person, in the sense that I believe in God, and I believe that He guides my every step. And there's something called faith, and it's not a religious term. Faith is simply confidence. Confidence. I have confidence that everything works together for my good. I have confidence that I always make the right decision, even if it looks like it's not. I have confidence that people love me, and I have the right team around me, that I'm treated like a king because I treat people well. I have confidence that I'm always shown mercy because I show mercy as well. So there are those kinds of things that I live by, that just put me in another place where there's no failure. I fall, but I get up, I keep running again. I fall,
Yeah.
I get up, I keep running again. And it's an amazing life. Living life is amazing. Life is amazing when you make it amazing, and when you force it to be amazing. It's not easy, and it's not just going to give you what you want. You need to force it. You need to tell it that it needs to give you one, two, three. And if it's not going to give it to you, you're going to take it. But a lot of people are afraid of that. A lot of people are afraid of what they can do, and they're afraid um, of the unknown. I'm no longer afraid of the unknown. I love the unknown because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Isn't
And
it exciting? The unknown is really exciting.
exactly. And that for me is where I thrive. I thrive when my back is against the wall. And when the pressure builds up, that's when I shine the most. And I realized, and I used to say this to someone, and what I was saying to them was, you know what? When your back is against the wall and you're being pushed against the wall, and this is an analogy for life. When your back is being pushed against the wall, it hurts. It hurts. You feel compressed. You feel depressed. You don't know what's going on in your life. You don't know in which direction to go. It feels like you can't go in any direction because you're being pushed against the wall, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, whatever. So I came up with something, and it sounds very stupid, but it works. Where I was saying to someone, I said, well, when you feel like that, you know what I do? I turn my back, right? Because I'm being pushed against the wall. I turn around and I push against the wall, so that I push my back against whatever's pushing me, And at the end of the day, that's how you thrive and succeed in life. You don't allow life to bully you and to push you around. You push life around. You command something. You command it
You're
to
in,
do
yeah,
something.
you're in control. We
You
are always in control, and even when we think we're not, we are. And
exactly,
yeah,
exactly,
when we don't take a stand and we don't make a choice, we're still making a choice. And the
exactly.
choice might be to stay back where we are in our comfort zone, or to move on and to push forward.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's basically what I've learned, and it's been working very well for me. And it's one of the things that has just thrown me into success and even more. I've barely scratched the surface. There's so many things that we're about to do that's just amazing. But you know what? Like I said, I'm an ever increasing human being, and that's the joy of my life. It's the joy of my
Yeah.
life.
That's great. And you said something earlier about that when you've got these dreams and then you think you're going to get to the end, and then they just like go over the horizon, and you think, okay, now I have to chase after it. But that's really what it's all about. It's
Yeah.
when you follow your intuition and you listen to the messages along the way,
Yeah.
and as you take the next step, it opens up a bigger pathway all the time. Each next step opens a bigger pathway, and then your life is you're having expansion in your life. So yeah, there's no end, there's no top of the mountain, there's no place
Yeah.
where you're going to stand and say, well, I've done it all,
Yeah.
because actually that's when you're not going to be here on this planet
Exactly.
in
Exactly.
this lifetime. But
Exactly.
yes, we're always expanding, and the thing is to allow that. I think that's also something that's really important, and to go forward with courage. And I mean, courage doesn't mean without fear. There can
Yeah.
still be fear, but we take the fear along with us. And
Exactly.
that's what I try and remember for myself. I mean, there are many times where feel almost terrified about what's going on in my life, because my life has also gone up and down and up and down many times, and I also make changes sometimes that people think are crazy. But
Exactly.
I just keep going forward, because that's the only way that there is. There's now being fully present where we are, and then there's the going forward to where we want to be. So
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
really fantastic and interesting what you've been saying. Yeah.
Can you just give me
So
1 moment? My phone's about to
sure.
die. I'm gonna charge it. Otherwise, people are gonna
Okay.
wonder why I disappeared.
Sure.
Give me
No
1 second.
problem. So that's really something really interesting that Webster's been saying there. How your dreams just keep expanding, and how there's always more. There's always something more. You're never coming to an end.
Are we still here? There we go.
We're still here.
All right. Sorry about that. My phone is literally on 1% and it's gonna die if I don't charge it.
Great.
Okay,
Well,
it's charging.
you're back.
Sorry about
Thank
that. I had
goodness.
to squat. Now I'm squatting. Hope you can see me.
We can see you. Okay,
Oh, there
so
we go. There we go.
Webster, what I wanted to ask
Yes.
was, there's another part to your business as well, and that's your Sennasi Global Consulting. And
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit about that before we end off?
Right. So with Sennasi Global Consulting, one of the things that happened a couple of years after I had started TW Publishers was, believe it or not, once again I was feeling as if I was feeling like, man, this is not that. There's something missing. There's something missing. Even though I knew that publishing was my purpose to say, I still felt like something is missing, and just like I did before, I didn't pray about it per se, but what I did was I began speaking to certain people that I trusted, certain mentors, and I said, you know what? I love publishing. I believe it's my purpose, but there's something else in me that needs to be drawn out. I just don't know what it is, and I just don't know how to do it. I'm not satisfied, and I'm not content. I feel like there's another part of my life. I don't know how to explain it. I felt like what a twin would feel when they know that they have a twin brother or sister, but they've never seen one. And
Wow.
there's something in them that says, I know this, there's another part of me. I just don't know where it is and how. And so it took me a while to figure that part out. And I'll never forget, I was talking to, there was this person that I looked up to, and I was telling them this. And they told me, okay, listen, what you need to do is you need to read this scripture. This person gave me a scripture, and I was like, okay. And they were like, okay, just read it to yourself and say it to yourself every day. I said, okay. And so I said, okay, cool. I went home and I did that. And yeah, I'll never forget. It's don't mean to be spiritual per se, but I believe it was Colossians 1:9-10.
Yeah, please
And
share it with us.
it said, and this is how I had confessed it. I believe that I'm filled with all spiritual knowledge and wisdom. Um, no, well, how was it? Colossians 1:9-10. I believe I'm filled with all spiritual wisdom and knowledge to know what I'm supposed to do so that I can please you. I think that's what I was saying at the time, and I just did that and said that time and time and time again for like 3 days. I must have done it a couple of thousand times over those 3 days. So I have a little I have a little compulsive nature to me where I can repeat something if like I can get obsessed over something that I want very, very, very strongly. So I was repeating that day and day out, every single moment, thousands of times. And then I just knew, once again, I can't explain how, I just knew that what was missing in my part, this other part of my life, was to encourage people. I just knew it was to encourage people. And I said, and I felt it inside. I don't know how, it was a weird experience. I just knew that, cool. So the two parts of my life is publishing and encouraging people. And I felt complete after that. And I knew, great. So now I need to focus on encouraging people. I've been publishing books. That's great. But I need to focus on encouraging people. And that second part of my life seemed to be the biggest part of my life. And if I was to ever grade these two things in my life, these two loves in my life, my love number one would be encouraging people, because it's something that it just flows out of me. It's not something that I have to put in effort. It just flows out of me, and I love talking to people, and I love seeing them, seeing their facial expressions, and talking about what matters to them, and seeing how I can help them. Um, with a word of wisdom or encouragement or motivation. A lot of people need that. And a lot of people need that, but they're not getting it because they're also, a lot of people are shy. Let me say it that way. A lot of people are shy. They don't really want to put themselves out there. They don't want to tell you about what they're doing. They don't want to tell you about how they're feeling. They don't want to tell you about what happened, what went wrong, because a lot of them feel like they're going to be judged, and a lot of them
Yeah.
feel like you're going to see them as failures because they tried to do this and it didn't work, or they tried to do that and it didn't work. And so I was then thrown into that part. And it's funny because while I was doing speaking on publishing, I then started to speak on personal development and on and on high performance, and on, hey, let's work on our mindset, because the mindset is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
It's the biggest barrier to your success. It's your
it is.
mindset.
Yeah.
And I found that out the hard way, because in those 3 years I had to break my own mindsets. And in your mindset is one thing that I believe is the strongest component of mindset, are your beliefs. It's what you believe about yourself. And that is how you create or form your story, your personal story. And your personal story, regardless of how much you desire it to change, it will not change until you change your beliefs, because it is
Absolutely.
influenced by your beliefs. And so a lot of times you could want to be successful and financially rich so that you can live the life you want to live, and so that you can support others and so forth. But if your personal story is influenced by certain beliefs that say rich people are stingy and money is evil, and you need to save every penny, and certain beliefs, then you will never break out of that mindset. And even if you land on a lump sum of money, you will inadvertently find a way to waste everything
Yeah.
until you end up back to where you were, because that's where you're comfortable, because that's where your
Yeah.
mindset is set at. So I found
Exactly.
a way to break those things, those beliefs, and it's not easy. Obviously, anything worthwhile is not easy, but I found a way to break those beliefs, and I created a system for myself. It was, I think, a 5-step system that I had worked on myself, that I used on myself to break my own limiting beliefs. Because there was a time, like I said, where I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted. I had to search. I found out about the faith element. I found out about this element. And then I found out about the thinking element. And I found out about the things that you're consuming. There's so many things that influence your mindset on a daily basis that you're not even conscious of, and you're just going through your day and you don't know that they're deciding how far you go, how high
Yeah.
you go in life. And so I said to myself, wow, I will never watch TV again. And I stopped watching TV, because I was a big TV guy, TV binge guy. I stopped watching TV. I stopped watching a lot. To this day, I don't watch TV. I have a TV, but it's never on. I don't watch TV. I don't watch certain programs. I don't watch anything. I watch what I believe is conducive to my personal growth and to me enjoying life and learning more. That is what I watch, but I never waste my time on certain things. There's certain music I don't listen to as well. um, I created boundaries basically for myself, mental boundaries, to say, okay, this is what I can enjoy in my life, and then everything else outside of that, I don't want. Why? Because it's going to influence my thinking, and if it influences my thinking over time, it's going to create a stronghold in my thinking, and it's going to take over my thinking, and I don't want that. And a lot of people have been taken over. They're now just a shell of their former selves. Everything is on autopilot. Yes, a certain amount of your life is on autopilot, because that's the brain's way of being efficient and effective. But you are the one who decides what input you're putting into your life, which then your brain and your mind will then say, okay, let's find an easier way of doing this. Let's put this on autopilot, right? You like waking up in the morning at 5? You don't need an alarm every day of your life. You just need to set it for the next 30 days. Guess what? Your body at some point and your mind will say, okay, we got it. We're going to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. Let's automate that so that you don't have
Yeah.
to set an alarm every single day. Same thing with other habits in your life. Maybe you're always reflecting every night before you go to bed. Your mind will find a way to make that easier for you. Let's say you have a financial goal, you're working in your business, and you have a goal of reaching this much or doing this much or whatever. The more you do certain things every single day and you create a habit, your mind will find a way to make that easier for you and will put on autopilot. You won't even realize that you're doing it. And which is the good part. Now, the bad part is the other side of the coin, where we're doing it negatively. When we're watching certain things that are influencing us negatively, your mind will find a way to make that easier for you, and it will attract nothing but negative vibes, negative stuff everywhere you go, because because you're saying to your mind, this is what I like. Your mind
Yes.
doesn't know
Yes.
the
And it
difference.
listens. It always
Exactly.
listens. Yes.
Exactly. It doesn't know the difference between, oh, this is good, oh, this is bad. And that's the funny part. You know the difference. And this is why I'd like to believe that you and your mind, you're not the same person. It's not one thing. So your mind doesn't know the difference. You can feed your mind garbage and it will produce garbage. And then you'll be like, why is this happening? But you're the one feeding your mind garbage. Your mind doesn't know the difference between garbage and good. And when you feed it good, it does the same thing. And you're like, wow. And people are like, well, how are you so successful? How are you doing this? And how are you doing that? And you're like, well, I don't know. I just do certain things every day. And I don't know. This is what I do. I wake up at this time. I do this. I prioritize that. I do that. I do this. I live like this. Da 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 da. And then they realize that, hold on a second, this guy is not special in any way, and they're not doing anything special. They just have certain boundaries. They watch certain things. They listen to certain things. They believe certain things, and their mind has found a way to make things easier for them from what they've given their mind to work with. So it's what you give your mind to work with. So you need to give your mind certain things to work with so that it can produce what you want. It's like a garden. You don't plant banana seeds and then you're waiting for watermelon. It doesn't work that way. And a lot of people live life that way.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful garden, you don't water it, you don't plant anything, there's nothing but weeds. And sometimes it happens so quick. You wake up and you have a messed up garden, it's horrible, and you're like, how did I get here? Well, day in, day out, you
Yeah.
didn't really take the time to take care of your garden. That's very simple, but it's reversible. That's the nice thing, because you are the beginning, you're the end. You can start something, you can change something. You can say, okay, I'm going to uproot everything. I'm going to start fresh, and I'm going to create the garden I want. And I found a way to do that, and that's what I teach to certain professional groups or organizations and board members and all that other stuff, and I teach them how to do that, because your mindset, like I said, is the barrier to every good thing that you want in your life,
Yeah.
whether it's high performance or success in a certain area of your life. And once you know how to break it, you feel free. You feel
Yeah.
free, and you enjoy life. But guess what? Because life is life, you're going to hit another barrier, and then you need to outgrow that one, and then you're going to hit another one, and then you need to outgrow that one. You have to become an ever increasing, growing being. And by doing that, it means that the challenges and the barriers and the plateaus that are upon your life, you're going to break it, but then there's going to be another one. You're going to have to break it. Then there's going to be another one. You're going to have to break it. Then there's going to be another one. Then you have to break it, because that is just how life is. So that's how Sennasi Global Consultants came to life. And yeah, we've just been doing a whole bunch of talks, trainings, virtual, and all of that, because of the COVID situation right now. And it's been really interesting to see people shift from something that they thought was impenetrable in their life, something that they thought they'd never really beat, and then they got right on top of that. So simple. And to just sum that up, your mindset, when you hit a barrier or a plateau in your life, or what we call a plateau, it means that your mindset has stopped serving you. Your current mindset has stopped. It's done. That's as far as it goes. That's why you hit a plateau. It's to show you, and that's why you can't break through. It's because your mindset is saying, "Uh oh, I this is as far as I go with you. You're gonna have to find another mindset that's going to take you further." But people don't understand that, and so what they do is we hold on to our best friends because we don't want to let them go. No, no, you've been with me for so long. I love you. Why
Yeah.
are you leaving me? Why are you leaving me? And you don't understand why you need to let go, so that you can find another friend who can take you even further. And so we hold on to our best friends, and by doing that, we never grow to the point where we're supposed to grow as an ever increasing human being. And we get sad, we get depressed, our performance goes down, we become average.
Yeah.
But when you say, you know what, best friend, I trust you, goodbye, let me find another one who's going to take me further. And once you do that, you say, wow, this is a new level. I've never been here. I've never experienced this before.
Yeah.
And guess what? After a while, that best friend's going to have to go as well. It's life. And we teach people to do that, and to understand that, no, 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 this is not a bad thing that's happening to you. It's a good thing, because it's showing you that, hey, you've reached your limit with this person. And by this person, I mean your mindset, your current mindset. So now you
Yeah.
need to discard that and create a new one. Create, not attract, create, because you're a
Yes.
creator. You need to create a new one, which is going to serve you and push you in even further. And once that one is old, don't cry, create a new one. Once that one
Yeah.
is old, don't worry, create a new one. Very simple, but so hard to do, and that's what we teach our clients in with Sennasi Global.
Yeah, and I mean, isn't it funny, because in the comfort zone where people love to be, because it just feels so wonderful. It's like, well, I've reached this point and this is so great, and then they're there, and as you say, it's like there's no going forward. You just sit and stagnate, and
Exactly.
in the comfort zone is the place where no one grows, and
Exactly.
um, and so you're quite right. You have to let go of certain ideas, let go of certain habits, let go of certain places, people, conditions,
Mhm.
and go on for the new. And
Exactly.
feed your subconscious mind with the things that, because I mean, it's our subconscious mind that really doesn't have any it doesn't know, it doesn't care if it's good or it's bad. It just keeps on creating for you what
Yeah.
you are feeding it. And
Yeah.
so you were speaking also about at night saying certain things, and that's the best time, just before you're going to sleep as well, to be feeding your subconscious mind, because it never switches off. And when you're asleep, your chatty mind shuts up and goes to sleep, and the one that's keeping you safe, and your subconscious mind keeps on working and helping you to create anything that you want. And that is what's so empowering and interesting, and knowing that it begins and ends with us.
Yeah.
We have the power ourselves. It's not out there, it's within us. And
Yeah.
that's just amazing.
Exactly.
So yeah, and there was something that you said about uh, about you wanted to find your twin side, and that's when you found the communication, the consulting company, because you wanted to encourage people and and help them there. And I think that you do it in both. You do it definitely both in the publishing and in the consulting company,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you are providing that same service just in a different way to all the people. I
Yeah.
really loved having this conversation with you, Webster. I could let it go on for hours, because I'm sure there's much more to know.
Yeah.
But before we end, is there something that you would like to just tell our listeners? A little quote that you may have for you for life.
um First of all, thank you. I had fun. I love talking.
Thank you.
As you've noticed, I can talk for hours. And you know, I'd like to end off with saying this, and it's going to sound very simple, but it's very powerful. When I was growing up, I've always been um, I've always been a very creative person. I always find solutions. Always. I've never been bored a day in my life. I always find solutions. There's always something to do for me. Always something to do. And that was when I was at my happiest at that time, was when I was creating things. Um, I never had to I never had to worry. I never had to worry because I always had something to do. If I didn't have something to do, I'd create something out of nothing. I would go in the backyard, and I remember I created my first motorbike with just bricks. And I mean, it looked like a real motorbike. I sculptured that thing, and I looked at it and I was like, huh, this looks good. That's what I used to do in my spare time. I created whatever it is I wanted to do. I was that kind of a person, and I was very happy at that time. And then what happens is, in life, you get you get kicked in the teeth. Life kicks you in the teeth, and people start telling you, hey, you can't do that, or maybe you shouldn't do this, or be careful here, be careful there, be careful here, be careful there. And I used to climb. In our house at the time, we had maybe like a 12-foot wall, brick wall, and I used to climb it, and I used to touch the ceiling every day. I used to climb it and touch the ceiling every day, and then come down. And my mom would be really, really scared because, if I fall, I'm breaking something myself, chances are. And I used to do that every day. So that's my background, risk taking. I do the most seemingly dumbest of things, stupid of things, and that's for me to test myself, to see how far I can go. I always want to see how far I can go, and I always listen to my intuition. So when my intuition says, "Hey, we can make 10 million rands this year," I don't doubt myself. I say, "Let's do it." But because of life and because of certain things that look like you failed in, life kicks you in the teeth and you begin believing a certain narrative about yourself that, okay, you know what, I can do this, but that one I can't do. Why? Because I kind of tried and it didn't work out. Okay, this I can do, that I can't do, this I can do, that I can't do. And you start nitpicking what you can and what you can't do. Yes, of course, in reality, there's certain things that you can't do because you're not wired to do them. We're all wired differently. But my point is this: you begin creating a story, like we said, a story, an internal story about who you are and what you can do and what you can't do. And you begin listening and or rather internalizing what other people are saying. And you have a certain perspective of your life, of your achievement, or of what you can achieve rather. And then you begin slowing down in life. You're no longer the same person you were when you were growing up as a child. You're now too careful. You're now way too careful. You don't risk as much. You take what we would now call calculated risks. And even then, you want to make sure that you win. You don't do something thinking, oh, hey, if it fails, it fails. You do something thinking it has to work. This has to win. I have to. And so over time, you don't become that ever increasing human being, because an ever increasing human being is a child.
Yeah.
Is a child, straight up. It's a child, and there's no two ways about it, because a child will learn to walk and fall, cry, and forget about it. Get up, walk, fall, cry, forget about it, get up, and do that thousands of times until they start walking. Hey, I can walk. Hey, I can walk. And then you fall because you're trying to run, and then you restart that process again. Now you're running, and then now you're inquisitive. Hey, you like climbing on trees? I used to climb on trees. We had a very big tree outside. Once again, I was told to be careful. I've never fallen off a tree. I've never broken anything in my body. I used to do the most weirdest stuff. I'm telling you, this tree was maybe 20 or 30 feet high. And I would climb up this tree, and I was like 8, 9, 10, and I would climb up this tree and just hang at the top and just chill and think about certain things. And I knew way before that I would do something amazing, that I would be something amazing. I knew then. And like I said, that is the picture of an ever increasing human being. It's someone who, regardless of what other people are telling you, regardless of what you've experienced, you never stop reaching for something better, for a better life, a better mindset, a better way of treating other people, a better way of seeing yourself, a better way of loving yourself and forgiving yourself, and also a better way of living life. You no longer have to get by with your whatever your salary is right now. If you're listening to me, that doesn't have to be your cap, doesn't have to be your
Yeah.
limit. You can double that if you want. You can triple that if you want. You can quadruple that if you want. You don't have to stay in an abusive relationship just because whatever it is that you believe about yourself. You can get out. You can find a loving relationship. You don't have to put up with what you're putting up with right now. You can simply change.
Yeah.
Why? Because you are an ever increasing human being. At some point, we stop running the race of life. And when you stop running, that's when you see people run past you and you start wondering, geez, Michelle's living an amazing life. Look at her go. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. And then you see Webster running past you. Oh, Webster's living a good life. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. They're living great lives because they're always in constant motion. You're not where you want to be because you're not moving. You need
Yeah.
to move. Start moving. Doesn't matter how slow or how quick you move, just be on the move. So I'd like to end it off by saying that No matter what happened in your race, in your lane, maybe that hurdle that you were supposed to jump over was too high for you, or you think it was too high for you, and you fell flat on your face, and you bruised yourself, and your lip was bleeding, and you said, you know what, I'm gonna stop right here, and I'm not gonna run because this hurts. What I'm saying to you is you need to start running, because the everything that you're looking for, the freedom you're looking for, the emotional stability, and financial stability, the joy you're looking for, everything that you're looking for is found in the running, in the motion. So you need to get up and say, okay, that hurt. I can't stop running just because I fell. I need to run. And guess what? You're going to run, and at some point, you're going to fall again. But you're going to have
Yeah.
to instill that same mindset and say, okay, listen, I've done this before now. I need to get up. Because the quicker it is I get up, then I can slow down that interruption, and then I can just get up and run again. So don't stop running your race in life. I don't care how old you are, I don't care how young you are, we're all living life. And it's funny, when people die, regardless of their age, we always say, man, that guy was so young. Could have been a 70-year-old dying or a 90-year-old dying. You're like, man, died too soon, too soon. Life is quick, life is very
Yeah.
fragile. Very, very, very fragile. You need to treat it with respect, and you need to understand that you are privileged to live life. So don't take it like it's some challenge where, oh my gosh, it sucks, and why is this happening to you, blah blah. Who else must it happen to? It's happening to everybody. So just pull up your pants and keep running, because once you do that, I'm telling you, you'll see a different side to life. You'll start appreciating what you have. There are some people, and it's so weird, there's some people who don't have legs and who don't have arms enjoying life more than people who have legs and arms. Why?
Yeah.
Because of the mindset. It's your mindset. They realize that, you know what, they can't let something stop them. They can't stop running. They need to keep running and jump over those hurdles, and keep running and jump over those hurdles, and keep running and jump over those hurdles, because that's where the joy is. Nobody's ever happy
Yeah.
when they're regressing in life. People are happy when they're progressing. You're
Yeah.
not happy when you lose 10 million rands or 10 million pounds. You're happy when you make 10 million pounds, and you're excited, and wow, I did that. I did that.
Yeah. And
You
the
find
joy is
happiness.
in the journey. I mean,
Exactly.
that's the thing, is that people stop enjoying the journey because they think they just have to reach out for that one thing, and then if they can't because they're too afraid, they stop living. I mean, how many
Exactly.
people are alive but not really living?
Exactly. So for me, that's what I'd like to leave you guys with, is that become an ever increasing and growing human being. Think back to when you were a child. You were so happy, you were so carefree, you were so bold, you were so tenacious. You didn't take no for an answer. You got what you wanted. You made sure you get what you want. And and especially a healthy kid, you wake up, and you go straight to what you want to do. You know what you're going to do today, and you command life to give you something. Whether I mean, kids throw tantrums, right? If you ever went with your child to somewhere, and they want a toy or they want something, they make sure that you know that they want something.
Yeah,
They're not gonna
exactly.
they're not gonna be shy about it, or just walk past the toy aisle, and look at the toy with the corner of their eye and be like, one day. No, 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 no. They'll
I
run over
want
that
it
toy aisle.
now, right now.
Your child will pick up that toy and come to you and say, I want this, and I want it now. And if you're not gonna give it to them, they're gonna
Yeah,
cry, they're gonna kick, they're gonna make you look like a bad parent. And in some cases, you'll be like, okay, fine, and then you buy. But my point is, you need to be like that with life, because life is not just gonna hand you what you want. That's not how life works. You need to throw tantrums, and by tantrums, I mean you need to command it to do what you want it to do, and you need to do that every single day. I'll leave with this. It's an acronym, ASK, which is ask. You ask, and you'll receive. You seek, and you'll find. You knock, and the door will be opened unto you. If you don't do those three things, your life is going to be miserable, and you're going to be miserable towards other people, and you're going to stop other people from running their race in life because you never asked for something. You want something, but you've never asked for it. And you've asked once and you didn't get it and you thought it doesn't work. No, no, no. You ask continually. You seek continually. You knock continually. And these things will bring amazing results in your life. Don't be the person who poops on someone else's idea of life or who poops on someone else's dreams. Be the kind of person who says, you know what? I believe in you. I believe in you. You can do it. And I like to end all my speaking engagements with that. Once I'm done, I say, I'm Webster Tsenase. And I always point to someone and I say, I believe in you. I believe in you. Because sometimes that's all people need. They just need you to believe in them. So I believe in you.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was absolutely wonderful speaking to you, Webster. I've so enjoyed it. And for our listeners, we will put all the links for Webster in the comments, and anyone that needs to, I'm sure there will be people who want to get hold of Webster. I'm sure there are many people with a book inside them, and many people in companies who could do with the strategic and mindset training. And we'll put the links in the comments. And please get in touch with Webster. Webster, thank you again. Thank you so much.
It's a
And
pleasure.
to all our listeners, thank you for listening. Everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you now. Bye.